Welcome back guys to my brand new tutorial. In today's video we're going to see how to display our database models inside of our website with Django and Python. If you enjoyed this tutorial, make sure to like the video, comment down below and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of my following tutorials. In the previous video we made our task model and displayed it inside of our admin page. It's right here. And we made our first task, subscribe to all code record. We have our name is completed and the date fields. And in today's video we're going to display those models inside of our website. We're going to make a brand new page, for example /home, and just display all of our models. Okay, so to do that you want to go into views.py inside of our main folder. And what is views.py? It's the file you go every time you want to make a certain page. So whenever you want to make a new page in Django, you first of all want to go inside of your views.py. This is where all the functionality of the site will go. So to make a functionality of this website, we're going to type define and then the name of the function we want to call it. We'll just call it home, since this will be a home page. And notice how I'm displaying this request thing inside of our function. That's because we're getting some kind of request every time we're accessing any page. For example, this is a get request. This is called the get request whenever you want to access any page. You see it right here, request method is get. Okay, so we want to call the request, and right here let's just return render. I will explain this in a minute, but first let's make our templates folder. If you're coming from the Flask framework, it's just a folder you want to store your HTML files in. So let's just make that templates, and inside of our templates directory you want to make another folder called main. If you called this right here app, if you call this start app main, you need to call this main. So just make it same as your main folder. And inside of our main folder is where we will store our HTML files. So let's just call this home.html, since we call this home.html. So once we made that, let's just display something like in h1. Okay, let's just display subscribe. And since we made our HTML and views.py, now we need to make our urls.py. Now you see it right here. We have in our my site folder, we have this urls.py, but if we have a lot of URLs on our website, it will be really stupid to store everything on one urls.py folder, or sorry, file. So let's just create a new urls.py file inside of our main directory. So we'll just call it urls.py. Now Django doesn't know we created this unless we display it right here. So first you need to import include from django.urls, and right here you can just copy this line right here, set this as empty, and just include main.urls right here, and we need to put this in quotation marks. And that's it. We now showed Django that we made this file actually. Now in this file right here we can actually copy all of this, and we don't need this admin thing, and we don't need this admin thing also. Now we also need our views. We need to import our views right here. So from .import views, and that's gonna help us generate these functions inside of our urls.py. Alright, so we can delete this, and inside of here you want to type views.home. Since we called this view home, you need to call this right here the same. And we can display our name home. Okay, so I'll explain this right now. So this empty quotation marks means what will our URL be. So if I set this as empty, our URL will be just this. So this local host default URL. But if we set this, for example, for home, and you always want to put slash at the end, if we set this, we can now type home, and this will be our URL that has this function as the functionality of the website. Okay, so now once we made all of this, we should see subscribe on our /home URL. That's it. So that's how we display basic HTML. Now you tapped on this video to see how to display our models inside of our website from the database. So to do that, we need to go inside of our views.py, because that's where the functionality happens. Okay, so first we want to, from .models, import our task model. Now inside of our home function, we want to make functionality to display those tasks objects. So let's just make a tasks variable, and let's just type this code, and I will explain it in a minute. Okay, so what this means: this is a variable you want to store all of your informations from this in. So you can call it whatever you want. For example, you can call it cars, whatever you want. We'll keep it as tasks. And what is this task.objects.all? So tasks is this model we're calling. So this model right here, we're calling this model. This objects.objects is all of our models inside of that task model, and this .all means what we want our query to be for these objects, database objects. So this all means we're getting all of our objects inside of our tasks model. And now I said I will explain this in a minute. This return render and all of this stuff, just return render means we're going to render a template. So this templates folder and this home.html. So this is what this means. And this request, you always want to display your requests, as I said. And what is this empty curly brackets? That is where you want to display your variables to display on your website. So that's where we will display our tasks, first in quotations, then as a variable. So this is how we want to display it on our website, and this is how our variable is called. You will see what this means in a minute. This right here. Okay, so once we did the functionality, we want to go inside of our home.html. Now, as I said earlier, we made this .all function that gets all of our objects from task model. So because we have all of our tasks, that means you can't really just display these tasks, because you can't display all of the objects as one object. So what we need to do is actually we need to go inside of our for loop. So for, we can call task in tasks, and then I will close this for loop. You want to display task. Now I'll explain it right now. This is called Jinja. This is code used to display our Python code inside of our HTML. If you come from Flask, you're familiar definitely with this. But for those who doesn't know, this is just the way to tell Django or HTML to know this is a function. So this is a function. You want to call the open curly brackets and this percentage sign. And that's how Django knows, aha, okay, this is a function. So we're using a for loop function, and this is how you close it. You want to close it because HTML really doesn't have that advanced technology to know whether it's closed or not, like Python or Django does. And whenever you want to display those items inside of our for loop, you want to use these double curly brackets. So function is one curly bracket and and actually two percentage signs. And for the displaying, you want to do just double curly brackets. And that's it. So now once we did this, we don't have to do anything else. And we should see the subscribe to all code Docker model inside of right here. That's it. Okay, so you can always type .name, or let me see, yeah. So you can type .name. The reason, if you remove this, let me show you this. If we remove this str thing, and right here display just task, you will see this task object 1. That is because in our admin, this is also displayed as task object 1. So this str helps us display the task object without needing to, for example, type .name. But if we delete this and type, as I said, .name, we will still see right here, sorry, it's called home. We'll still see subscribe to all code Docker. So you can keep it whatever you want. I usually like to type that .name and keep this str because it's easier for visibility. Okay, let's make another object so we can see it's actually working. It's displaying all of our objects. So let's go to admin page, add a new task, and we'll call this also like the video with three exclamation marks. Okay, so let's save this and notice how it's 22nd November and today is the 1st December. Happy New Year almost. Okay, so let's save that and now go inside of our home URL and notice, let me just put a break line right here. This is just pure HTML. This is used to put anything in the new line. And you see it right here. Also like the video with 3 exclamation marks. Okay, so that's working. And you can, for example, display the date. Let me see if it's called the date. Yeah, it's called the date. And if you'll display the date, now you can do something like this. For example, task name, and then that, and also you can task date, and let's call this date. And you'll, okay, this is ugly. Let me make another break lines. Okay, it's a little bit better, but so you see it right here, task name, and then subscribe to all code Docker. It's created November 22nd, and the other one is also like the video, and it's made in the December 1st. Now, if you didn't forget, we also have our is completed field right here. Now, you can't really display it doing this instead of our HTML. So is deleted. You can't really do that because it will just say false. If you call this, for example, task completed. Okay, let me go inside that. It's not displaying it like a checkbox or something styled. It's just displaying it as text, like false or true if it's checked. So to do that, you need to actually make a form, which we will do in the next video. But you can't really display it like so. You can make a checkbox inside of our HTML. That's by doing like input and then class as checkbox. But it's not really functional and stuff. So it's better to just make a form, which it will help users also create another task manually, not needing to go inside of our admin page. And also, not any user is admin, so they also can't do that. Next video we will make a form to help users make new tasks. Alright guys, that's it for this video. If you liked it, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I also have another great video right here on the screen. Make sure to check it out, and I'll see you in that one.